Welcome, everybody. My name is Lori Trainer. I'm the Vice President of Southern Affordable Services out of Florida, and I want to welcome you to Affordable Community Marketing Strategies for Success webinar. This is our first webinar of the Affordable Housing Committee, a committee that I chair, and I'm pleased to welcome all of you today. As a bit of housekeeping first, we will hear from our presenters and then have time for a brief Q&A after the session. If you have questions during the session, many of you have already located the message chat feature in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Please type your questions there, and then we will address them at the end. For those of you that are using your laptop, if it's possible to use your phone to listen to the webinar rather than your computer speaker, you might have more success that way. So everyone who knows, who works with affordable housing in any capacity knows that there are numerous regulatory requirements based on the multiple layers of financing at any given affordable property, and all management companies must comply with these. This includes meeting the approved affirmative fair housing marketing plans. At the end of the day, owners want properties full. We all know that. While there's a tremendous need for low to moderate income housing, the old adage, if you build it, they will come, may have worked for Kevin Costner in A Field of Dreams, but such advice can prove ineffective in achieving occupancy goals at most affordable housing communities. This webinar is geared towards how you can actively market affordable communities in an effort to achieve high occupancy. Today we have two amazing presenters. We have Kate Peterson, the National Marketing Director for Mercy Housing Management Group, and Ginger Long, the Director of Marketing for Gene B. Glick Company, here to present tips for us. Kate joined Mercy Housing in 2006 and leads the marketing department for Mercy Housing. She and her team develop and manage the implementation of national, regional, and site-specific brand marketing programs to increase property performance while increasing awareness of Mercy Housing Management Group. Kate has over 15 years working with organizations, raising visibility of programs and marketing products and services. Her previous employers include the Downtown Denver Partnership and the Colorado Housing and Finance Authority, so she knows both sides of things. Mercy's housing mission is to create stable, vibrant, and healthy communities by developing, financing, and operating affordable, program-enriched housing for families, seniors, and people with special needs who lack the economic resources to access quality, safe housing opportunities on their own. Ginger has 25 years of experience in the property management industry. She began her career as a leasing consultant for Harvey Freeman & Sons in Memphis, Tennessee in 1987. Managing her first property at the age of 22, she realized she had found her career path. Over the years, she has worked in many challenging positions and facets of property management. Currently, Ginger leads the marketing department at Gene B. Glick in Indianapolis, where she and her team focus on creative, outside-of-the-box marketing campaigns and promotions to ensure the success of Glick's 100-plus assets. Her previous experience includes Director of Marketing and Training for CLK Management, Multifamily Management. Founded in Indianapolis in 1947, the Gene B. Glick Company is a property management and development company with over 20,000 apartment units in 10 states. I will now turn it over to Kate and Ginger.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Lori.
Good afternoon.
So here is the dilemma. Have you ever tried to do something new or needed some guidance, support, direction, just something? I have a 6-year-old daughter, and one of Santa's gifts this year was a rainbow loom. I honestly had never done it, and of course, my daughter hadn't done it either. So I sat down and read the directions after begging and pleading, "Mom, will you show me how to do the loom?" Yeah, the directions were not terribly helpful. I watched a couple YouTube videos. We both watched videos. We still couldn't figure it out, sadly. So I called my nephew, and the first thing he asked was, "What kind do you want to make? Diamond Ridge, honeycomb, single chain?" I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I just don't know. I want to just make a bracelet for my daughter. This is affordable housing to people who do not work in it every day. They don't know. They just want to find a place to live. A prospect doesn't have the understanding or knowledge to understand AMI levels, the difference between HUD, subsidized program, or low-income housing tax credits, and it means nothing to them and can be really, quite honestly, discouraging. So affordable housing means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Also, there's the negative stigma. Now, let's be honest. There's a stigma around it. NIMBYism, not in my backyard. We're all in the industry, and it's our responsibility to clarify as much as possible. So with a little understanding and a little explanation, executives can understand that we house their hardworking employees, or the homeowner down the street gets it, that their child's teacher may qualify to live in our community, or the senior figures out that they themselves might qualify now that they're on a fixed income. And then, to make it even worse, the paperwork. Where do you begin? You ask residents to sign this form, that form, sign again, here, there, everywhere, and they need that house today. How can you help ease the process? And then finally, the qualifications. I have honestly, over the years, lost count of all the acronyms that we use in this business. And it's a good thing in my role that I don't honestly work with HUD more often, because I can't figure half the stuff out with all the interpretations and the latest and greatest rules and regulations. So imagine that you're looking for an apartment and you just want a nice place to call home for your family. You work full-time. The last thing you really want to do in your spare time is shop apartments, and then you're met with all this jargon. Student rule, assets, occupancy requirements, 40-60 rule, what a drag. So rather than, renters just want to know what the rent is and do they qualify. So it's tough enough. Let's not make it any more complicated. People. That's where we come in, the people. And the people can make all the difference. Think about a time when you were out at a store shopping for a new pair of shoes, and you ran into a nasty salesperson. Even if they weren't mean or rude per se, but they just weren't helpful. Oh, I don't know if we carry that size. I don't have time to look in the back for a different color. You're going to think twice about buying the shoes, especially if they're not the pair that you've been dying to buy. We're selling the biggest expense for a household, and frankly, the most important one. And it's a big deal. It's their home. It's emotional. It's exciting. It's scary. It's expensive. And our job is to make it easier and get them to pick us. You have some vacancies, and people have been coming in all day. Students, people who make too much money, people who only want to pay 30% of their income. Here's the thing. It's easy for us to make assumptions about the individuals. It's easy for us to think they know exactly what they want or that they understand the programs. We assume they've done their research ahead of time and understand that this is a tax credit community and not a subsidized property where we're only paying 30% of their income. We leave it up to them. And if the resident doesn't feel that they have a choice of where they live, they're going to be an unhappy resident at the end of the day. So find out who the customer is and what they need, and think about the qualities that prospects value in a leasing consultant. Honesty, understanding, knowledge, listening, professionalism. And always remember that people lease from people they trust. This is where you build your rapport. So the Affirmative Fair Housing Marketing Plan, it is required by HUD, Rural Development, Home, and others. This is just a reminder to be sure it's signed and approved and posted in your leasing office. And although some plans are good for up to 5 years, you need to be sure you are doing what you committed to do annually. While this is in theory your marketing plan, this is not necessarily your roadmap for active leasing at your community, especially if you don't have a wait list and you have high turnover. The leasing cycle. While this class is about marketing, we did want to spend a couple of minutes on leasing. Most of you, I imagine, are familiar with this, and certainly those of you who have been leasing at conventional communities are familiar. All of these skills apply to affordable communities as well. And in fact, these skills apply to those few properties where you may use a referral agency to provide you with residents. These are all skills that can be applied to a number of industries as well, outside of the apartment industry. We are in the customer service business, and our customer base is very far-reaching. So remember, not only prospective residents are our customers, but also current residents, owners, investors, vendors, neighbors, business community, and effective communication is critical. Can you imagine buying a car without ever sitting in it or driving it for that matter? Most communities don't have the luxury, especially in the affordable world, of having a model apartment to show at any given time. And sometimes we don't have a lot of time, I get it. Super busy, lot to do, lot of paperwork, lot of follow-up recertifications. And if you're lucky to be the community where you occasionally get a vacant apartment and you're operating with a long wait list, you often have nothing to show. Timing is critical. If you can't show somebody a rent-ready apartment, show them a floor plan. Paint the picture for them. Take pictures of the vacant rent-ready and have them posted in your office or on your computer screen to go through and show them what their apartment may look like when it is ready. And be sure to show them before they sign the lease. In my experience, a lot of times I receive calls from property managers, panic-stricken. All of a sudden, there's a lot of skips or evictions or deaths. Bottom line, they have vacancies to fill. Oh my gosh, what do I do? Help, help. The first thing is to really pause and reflect and evaluate. What are you currently doing? What works? What doesn't work? What can you do differently? The effectiveness in how you communicate your resident selection criteria. I don't know about all of yours, but ours here is extremely long, confusing, and honestly a little boring. So help people understand it. Can you and your staff explain it in a way that people understand it? Can you incorporate some of the high-level information, i.e. the rents and the income limits, and put them in a flyer maybe? Or can all of your staff articulate in a way that everybody understands? The elevator speech, or otherwise known as the elevator pitch, this is critical in outreach marketing. Can you deliver the summary explanation in the time span of an elevator ride? So approximately 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Now this is something I often have to do with outside people as well as members of my family for as long as I've been doing this. Still, nobody quite gets it. So I have developed a little elevator pitch that I use when asked what I do. Mercy Housing, a national not-for-profit community development organization dedicated to serving those in need of quality, affordable homes. I even have a sentence or two more that I can go to should the person actually act as if they're interested, or I can gauge if they've just asked me to be nice. Nonetheless, have that elevator speech. Identify competitive edge in what your assets are. Sometimes the assets don't add up well next to the market. Be sure to identify with your team what are your assets. You might not have the pool or the gym, but figure out what you can sell. It may be the apartment you may be getting ready to sell the small apartment in the corner. It can be a cozy, bright, and private apartment. Or your 30-year community may have a recently vacant apartment, but it offers brand new carpet and paint. Remember, what are your advantages? And hand in hand with that, know how to overcome your objectives. What does everyone complain about at your community? Why do people turn down the apartment? Brainstorm with your team and develop your responses. And then finally, ask them to lease. It can be tough when their response is, well, I'm just looking right now. Ask them to lease again and again and again. Everyone knows change is tough. Identify the challenges, obstacles, and recognize things that aren't working. Take the time to evaluate what you can do differently. Market survey. Shop your competitors. Not only get the data, the rents, the occupancy, but find out what the competitors are doing that you might be able to do to market your community better. They might be very insightful and willing to share with you. Identify your competitive edge. What makes you different? Why do you stand out? Recently, I was working with a manager who has a rural property with very few apartment communities. In the area, they're leasing houses for competitive prices to our property. And the manager said to me, how can I possibly compete with that? They have houses that rent the same amount as our apartments. Turn it around. We offer 24-hour maintenance emergencies, on-site staff, lawn service, paid water, sewer, trash, all of those things. Resident selection criteria. Are these policies, is there anything in there that you can modify? It's tough. Regulatory agencies dictate a lot of what we do, but sometimes you can find things that your company is requiring above and beyond what the regulatory agencies are. Explore those avenues. Evaluate your demographics. If it's a family property with a lot of one-bedrooms, why not outreach and target older, active individuals in your community? Maybe take Section 8 vouchers. Or if there's a new company coming to town, will their employees be people that may qualify for your housing? And policy, pets. Evaluate your policies. This goes hand in hand with your resident selection criteria as well and your house rules. Do we take pets? Should we start taking pets? Would that open up a whole new market for us? Are we getting a lot of people that are going elsewhere because we don't accept them? And then, of course, resident retention. You spend all this time getting them to move in and make your property home. Be sure you retain them. It doesn't need to be extraordinary all the time. Great customer service, clean, well-maintained community, and timely completion of work orders. So you've done all this work. Now make a plan. See how you add up, and now how are you going to move forward? These are some of the key ingredients to your marketing plan. Executive summary, market analysis, competitive analysis, your market survey. What do we have to offer? What are our objections, the challenges? Pricing, staffing. Can you get done what you need to in order to meet the goals? This may mean you need to hire additional resources to turn the vacants this month because you had a lot of skips. Or you need another person to come over and cover the office while you do outreach marketing. But what will you need in order to be successful? Performance goals. This is the game plan. I recommend 90-day plan, monthly goals. How many current vacant? Calculating out how many move-outs you will have as well. How many rent-readies do you have? How will you get to 100% or 98% by September 30th? And the budget. The budget's critical. I know a lot of times, affordable housing, we don't have a large marketing budget, but you don't need to spend a lot of money. If you have the vacants, you're losing money every day. And there's lots of low-cost marketing options out there. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ginger.
Thank you, Kate. This is my favorite part of this whole presentation. It's not because I'm the one speaking. As Kate said, a lot of properties don't have a budget, so you really have to be conscious about your outreach marketing. But first of all, you want to ask, what are the benefits of outreach marketing? What's in it for you? It creates a steady stream of referrals. It builds a positive reputation in the area. It can be cost-effective. It's easy to implement, and you can increase your occupancy. So when should you outreach? All of the time. All of the time. I can't repeat that enough. But the three common mistakes that we make when we do outreach is that we don't market consistently. This is not something that you're going to get instant gratification with. You're going to have to continually go to the same places, to the same companies, and continually get your name out there. Be consistent with it. We don't market appropriately to the appropriate audience. Sometimes we feel like that we need to market in an area that's not where our clientele is, that's not where we're going to be getting the biggest bang for our buck. So you want to make sure that you market to the appropriate audience that would accommodate your property. And the last thing is sometimes we don't outline the correct information when we're marketing. If you don't have all your facts and figures together and all your correct information, you're basically wasting your time and the person's time that you're speaking with because you're not giving them the correct information. Okay, outreach versus sales calls, because a lot of times people get these confused. When you outreach, you're building relationships. These people are going to be long-term. You're building partnerships, and it's a win-win situation for everyone. When you cold call, it's basically just a sales call. It's very brief. You're just a customer, and the salesperson wins. So you want to make sure that when you're doing outreach that you're building relationships. And the best way to do that is do a little research before you go out and do your outreach. Okay, so where do you begin? As I said, you need to identify the businesses that you're going to visit. That could be local businesses in your area or an upcoming company or business that's coming to your area. So that's where you're going to start off with. You want to prepare something to leave behind. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be dropping off flyers at every business out there, but you want to prepare some nice marketing collateral that tells about your property, maybe tells the floor plans, very brief, but a very nice piece. The person that does the outreach needs to be enthusiastic and knowledgeable. You don't want to send Debbie Downer out there to do your outreach because you're not going to make any success with that. A lot of times I talk to people on properties and I'll say, who does the outreach? And, Sally Sue will hold up her hand and she says, I do. Well, and I hate it. So if Sally Sue is the one that's not going to be the best representative for your property, then don't send her. Make sure you send somebody that's enthusiastic and is very knowledgeable. Make sure that you practice what you'll say because sometimes you can get out there and you get nervous and you get jumbled and you may not say the right thing. So make sure you practice what you say. Maybe practice in front of the mirror. Pretend like you're a movie star. How to leave a message. There's all kinds of ways when you're calling a potential company. The last thing you want to do is leave this long message. Hi, this is Ginger from Gene B. Glick Company. I've got a great 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom at my property, and they lease and you rattle on all the prices, and you leave this long, drawn-out message. Whereas if you were to call and say, hi, this is Ginger, and you know the person's name, hey, Kate, this is Ginger, give me a call. I've got some really good information for you. Kate is more likely to call Ginger back because Kate doesn't know if she knows Ginger or not, but she's going to call back just to find out what it was all about. So make sure that you leave a creative message to where you're going to get a phone call back. When you're out doing your outreach, make sure that you obtain and contact information, pick up some business cards. I always tell people to start like a little notebook, an outreach notebook. And they make those little slide things that you can put business cards in. It's a great place to just put everything compact and keep it together. The last thing is you make sure you follow up. Like I said, you have to be consistent, and you have to do this continuously, so make sure you continue to follow up with your prospects or your prospective prospects. So where should you market? Well, real estate offices are a great place. You could actually call one of them and say, hey, I know you have Monday morning meetings. I would love to come to your meeting and supply the donuts. It's a great opportunity for you to go in front of all of those real estate agents and give a brief 5-10 minute presentation. Local merchants, they're going to be your best friends because if you create a relationship with them, you can send them referrals as well as they can send you referrals. So your local merchants are an excellent place to start off with. Service providers, you get them all the time that come into your properties, cable companies, Whirlpool, washer-dryer rentals, all those. Those are a great place to market to. They know your property. They come out there. So they'd be a great place to go and outreach to. They may not need an apartment themselves, but when they know somebody that does, you'll be the first person that comes to their mind. Large corporations are an excellent place to outreach to. Most of them have salespeople that come in from out of town that don't know the area, and as long as you're first on their list of somebody that came in and did some outreach, then you might be a person that they would send someone to. And the best place is where your residents currently work. How awesome to be able to go in and say, we have a few people that live in our community that work here, so we decided we were going to bring you donuts today. It's a great way to not only your residents that work there to be proud that their community came out and did that, but you're actually getting new prospects because they've got a referral now. Blitzing is a fun way to outreach. I don't suggest that you go out and put flyers on cars because you're just going to make people mad. But blitzing, just getting your word out there. For instance, if you want to rent a snow cone machine and stand in front of Kroger with your information on the snow cone, that's a great way to blitz. Blitzing. You can't do enough of that. So there are a lot of hidden markets that you can outreach to that a lot of people don't think about. The Chamber of Commerce is a great place to get to know. A lot of cities have what they call like a business after hours through their Chamber of Commerce. I know that we've got one here in Indianapolis, and it's a great way to go when you set up a table. Sometimes you're the only property management company there, so it makes you stand out. But the Chamber of Commerce is a great way, and I believe any new members that are coming in, they know about them, and it's a great contact for you. If urban, partner with the downtown booster organizations. That's a great contact too. It's a good way to get your name out there, and again, just the networking itself will bring you in a lot of business. Visitor centers, that's another place that you wouldn't think that would be a good place to outreach. But again, you're just leaving your information, you're leaving your name, you're getting your name out there, you're saturating the market. Anything you can do to get your name out there is going to help you. If your neighborhood has a newsletter, that's another good thing to outreach on. It's very inexpensive. Sometimes they'll again let you do some trade-offs with your newsletter. So any advertisement that you can do in a neighborhood newsletter, you might get in return not only some rentals, but a great relationship as well. Colleges. A lot of people think, oh, no, we don't outreach to college. That doesn't fit our clientele. But even low-income housing tax credit properties have limitations. And when it comes to full-time students, some of the local colleges in your area, might have staff that qualify that would benefit from living close to where they work. So colleges, don't mark them off your list. It's really a good place to outreach to. I know a lot of the conventional properties do a lot of outreach to colleges, and they do a lot of fun things. You can do the same thing there. You're just outreaching to more of the staff versus the students. So definitely don't take colleges off your list. And if you actually were to go onto any college website, there is an area there that shows you a staff directory or a way that you can get in touch with somebody that's over the staff for their housing needs. So when should you outreach? Well, always. But to break it down for you, you want to at least devote 8 hours per week. That's only one day that you need to outreach. I mean, if you can do it more, that's great, but that will get you a lot of bang for your buck. Do it first thing in the morning, because if you come into the office and you get on the phone or prospects are coming in, you'll never leave the office. So make sure you pack up everything the day before, and the first thing the next morning, you head out and do your outreach. Don't come to the office until you've done all your outreach, because otherwise you'll get stuck. When you're going out to do your outreach, it's better that you set appointments, because a lot of times people don't like cold calls when you're coming in the door. And again, you could use that same little tip I gave you on leaving a message for them to schedule the appointment when they call you back. Just, hey, Kate, can I just have 5 minutes of your time? I've got a gift for you, and I've got some information for you. So schedule your appointments and leave first thing in the morning and go to each one of your appointments. Do this in the middle of the week and maybe the middle of the month, because that seems to be the slowest times on our properties. I know you're going to say, well, it's never slow at my property. But if you had to pick a time, it's not the first of the month, which is rent time, and it's not the end of the month when you have most of your move-ins. It's the middle of the month and maybe the middle of the week, like on a Wednesday. That would be the best time. So if you're going to do flyers, because I know that there are some particular properties that will say, we don't have any big corporations in our area, and we don't have any colleges in our area. So that's in that case you do want to do flyers, but make sure that your flyers are legible, that you didn't copy them off your copier 1,000 times, that they're nice, they're neat, they're colorful, they're brief, they have all the information on there. And the places that you want to leave these flyers are going to be like your local libraries, recreation centers, senior centers, best place of all, laundromats, coffee shops, grocery store bulletin boards. How many times have you came out of Marsh grocery store or any grocery store and they have that big bulletin board up with different little flyers for lost animals and exercise equipment and things like that? Why not have yours up there? Walmart does the same thing. Now we're getting to the fun stuff, the outreach ideas, which I think are major, major fun. Make it a fun thing. Did you know that you can actually mail a ball? You know, the little bouncy balls that kids play with? You can actually mail a ball. It's a great conversation piece for an office, and it's a great thank you to send after your first initial meeting. So the post office will probably give you a funny look, but take the ball up there, have it addressed, have the return address and your message on there, maybe something like, hey, I had a ball speaking with you, and mail out the balls. Great outreach idea. As Kate had mentioned earlier, pets are a big deal. People that have pets that don't have children, their pets are their children, so we need to treat them that way. 68% of all households have pets. That's huge. So you want to outreach to all your local pet centers and the vets, because those places are going to know the people that maybe might be looking for an apartment, that maybe have been looking in places that don't take pets. So make sure you advertise to all those places. And make sure, of course, you advertise that you're pet-friendly, because a lot of affordable communities are not. So if you are, it kind of puts you in a class all its own. Okay, this is a really fun idea. This is a break room campaign. If you work for a big company or even a small company, most companies have a break room where everybody goes sometime during the day to have a snack, warm up their lunch, whatever. But if you came into a break room and it had all like a big container of free snacks, but every snack was labeled with your community information on there. The refrigerator was stocked with water bottles with your label on there. Magazines were in the room. Now, when I say magazines, not just put the magazines on there, but you're actually going to order the magazine and you're going to have your property information on the address label. So when you leave these magazines, whoever's looking at the magazines see that it has your address on the label. You might even go and stick some extra stickers on the covers of all the magazines for the break room. So if you have limited resources for doing this, get a current resident that lives there to help you. Maybe if they're where they work, and maybe they could take your community flyer to put in their break room, or they might even give you the hookup to come in and do this yourself. Color your world. Kids are a big thing, and people like their kids as much as they like their pets. So we want to make sure that we cater to those people. Any restaurant, daycare, anything like that that's around your area, any community lobbies, you can actually have custom coloring pages done through some of these websites that you see on here. And you can take these flyers, these coloring pages, and some colors and drop them off. Not only does it have your property information on there, but it gives, the kids coloring, they take it home, the mom's going to want to put it in the refrigerator, everybody's going to see it. So that's a great place to outreach to. So here's some different themes that you can do, because I know everybody likes themes. I know I do. And this just gives you kind of some ideas. You're worth a mint to us. Put some mints in a little package and put that tagline on there. We've got the competition licked. I love this because I always like to use those little dum-dum stickers, and I can't ever figure out a way to use them. But we've got the competition licked is a great tagline for that. Or come stick with us. Marching to serve you. We really want to really talk about our military and our thank yous. But marching to serve you, what comes to my mind are the little army men, the little plastic green army men. Put them on some cupcakes and take them out. Fall into savings, that's a good one for fall. Everybody uses the fall into savings. So here we're going to talk about some other strategies, which I'm going to turn it over to Miss Kate.
Thanks, Ginger.
You're welcome.
Approximately 45% of traffic is from drive-bys or walk-ins. And so these are people that are already in your area, driving by your property, and are interested enough to come in your front door. So this is where it all begins. It's your curb appeal. Does your property look good inside and out? I don't know about you, but I have had a couple times where I have driven home. You drive regularly to and from work or to and from your friend's house or school. It becomes so automatic and routine. And you find yourself thinking sometimes, oh my gosh, I don't even remember driving there. The same can happen with your property. You come in the same entrance every single day and you leave through the same entrance. And you're on autopilot or you're multitasking. You don't notice that the flags are gone or you don't notice that the sign is no longer lit. So change your lens, enter from a different side, come a different direction, come at night, and look to see what your signage, curb appeal, your flags, banners, all of these things are critical. Custom balloons, another great way to get people in. And then, of course, once they get there, can they locate the office? Our properties, a lot of our community centers are really small, or the leasing office is in the back. So is there good signage? How do you get in the gate? Once they get there, and is it clear where they park their car? All important pieces. And promotion. Do your other colleagues, you meet with them, you see them at managers' meetings, you call, talk about maybe a deadline, but do you ever really talk about, hey, we have a vacant apartment and we're accepting applications. Can you refer some people to us because your property's full? Or what about when you're working on your market survey? Ask a competitor for some referrals. Paid advertising. This is one of those things maybe you can't afford it. Find out if there's an online-only advertising opportunity or share the ad cost with another nearby property. Craigslist. This continues to be one of the top advertising sources. Lots of posting tools that are out there for low cost, whether you choose to use posting tools or not. Bottom line is use Craigslist, follow up with your leads, and post often. And housing authority. I think we all assume the housing authority knows we're out there and we have availability. Remind them when you do have a vacant. Some housing authorities even have a lobby with a magazine rack or brochure racks, and you can display your flyers, so check it out. Also, a lot of them now have websites where you can go in and post your vacants. And resident referral programs. This is the low-hanging fruit, super low cost. You don't need anything outrageous, and the best part is you only pay when you get a lease. So offer an incentive for your current residents. Have them refer your friends, family, and even their coworkers. Mini models. Sometimes your apartments look a little vanilla or plain. Make a mini model. Add color, appeal to all the senses. This is a really low-cost opportunity. Add bright colors. Also a great way to encourage leasing consultants to point out some features that they may not remember. We've even used large stickers or table tents throughout the vacant apartment. Bring the outside in tagline or load up the dishwasher and have less work as a prompt to remind the leasing agent to point these features out to the prospect when you're in there. Color does a lot. And branding. Some other ideas. Temporary tattoos. Kids love those. They put them everywhere, for better or for worse. Custom fortune cookies. Again, a low-cost item. Have a fun tagline inside. Use the theme throughout your community. Screen-printed cakes are a sweet way to market through your break rooms. This is another good outreach marketing low-cost option, as well as your custom coffee sleeves. You could even use that as a resident retention type tool. Offer coffee on Fridays in your leasing office. They'll take it into work and have your community on their coffee sleeve. It's easy to go to the dollar store, look around, or the Oriental Trading Company, Party City, see what you can come up with. They have those multi-packs of stuff all the time and then carry the theme throughout. Rehab and new construction projects. Those are definitely a great opportunity to do direct mail pieces. You can use wood, vinyl, you could even just do a picture of wood. Flashlight keychains, hard hat tours with logos. There's lots of opportunities there. And pizza. Everyone loves pizza. Work with a local pizzeria or restaurant, advertise on the pizza box. Another option is to offer dinner is on us to all of your new move-ins. You could put the coupons in the move-in bags. It's a win-win for all. And the residents win, you win, and the pizzeria wins.
And
they like the advertising. Ginger?
Yes?
It's your turn.
I'm up. Okay, another great idea is you can be the teacher's pet, which we all wish we were at one time or another. Sponsor a school supplies to a classroom. You'll win their hearts, you'll win the teacher's hearts, you'll win the principal's hearts, everybody's hearts. But if you just get a list from the classroom of the supplies they need, have a little drive, and sponsor all the supplies, it'll be a hit. With the parents as well. Public transportation. This is a little pricey, but it's a great idea. You can advertise on a train or a bus or at a bus stop. I don't know if you've ever been inside one of these type buses, but you see all those cool advertisements that's all over the walls. Well, you could advertise on that. Provide labeled snacks for the American Red Cross, local blood drives, or other organizations. So when somebody draws blood and they're about to pass out and they're eating those peanut butter crackers, it's going to have your name on them. Or host a public event such as a health fair or a farmer's market in your parking lot or your community center. All these are just great networking tools. You're providing a great service. You're outreaching, so it's a win-win. And anything that you take out, whether it be a pack of crackers or it is a nice umbrella or a coffee mug or an ink pen, everything you take out, you have to personalize it. If you can't afford to have some nice promotional items from a promotional company, and you're going to provide all these items yourself, as Kate said before, you could get all kinds of really inexpensive things from Oriental Trading, the dollar store, Walmart, but everything that you do a personal label with your property information on there and stick it on there. Otherwise, they'll forget who gave it to them. Frisbees are a great way to advertise, and this is really fun when you take out to colleges too. You can have all your information printed up on the Frisbees. Go to parks, throw them out at the park. Anywhere that you can think of that's going to have a fun activity going on, take a big thing of Frisbees and just start passing them out. And another really cool thing you can do with the leftover Frisbees is when you have your next resident function, you use them as plates. The one main important thing that you want to do through everything that we've talked about today is you want to support your site staff and you want to provide the appropriate tools and resources for them to be successful in their leasing and their marketing. That's the only way that this is going to work for anybody. So if everybody's not on the same page and they don't feel like they've got the support and the tools they need, they can't go out and outreach. So just make sure that everybody on your site team, including all your maintenance team members, know what's going on and have all the successful tools that they need to make it work for you guys. Lori?
Okay, guys, thank you very, very much. A lot of wonderful ideas, and it made me hungry and want to eat pizza off of a Frisbee. Anybody on the phone call, if you have any questions or comments, please use the meeting chat box in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Carly, are you going to?
We have one question. They would like to see, someone would like to see the coloring website, please, where you can go to get some of the coloring pages.
Can you flip back to it? Oh, this one. Oh, there it was.
Oh, there it was.
There you go.
There's the coloring website.
There's also a question about getting a copy of the presentation. We will make the presentation available after the webinar today. We'll probably in the next few days we'll make it available to you. We have one question about the slide for rehab. Was there a slide?
I believe that was the direct mail.
Yeah.
Jason, if you could confirm that's your question, was the direct mail for new construction or rehab? And Ginger, was that yours?
Yes, I'll find it. I think I'm going the wrong way, aren't I?
Yeah, that was later.
Sorry. There.
There it is. There you go, Jason. So what that is it's a piece of wood or a piece of vinyl or picture of wood, I believe you said, that you used just to demonstrate, the construction, whether it's new construction or rehab. Is that correct?
It's actually a piece of sample flooring that we got from a flooring company that we use. They gave us a whole stack of them.
So scraps or something you can use?
Yeah.
Jason's response was Shazam. He liked that one. All right. Shonda.
Go ahead, Lori.
How do you market when you are using preferences, such as veterans housing? Most of our foot traffic is non-veterans, and I guess they're trying to market to veterans housing.
We've done that. We most recently actually just finished up with that. We did a lot of specific outreach meetings, partnerships with the VA, the VFW, very targeted, a lot of meetings ahead of time. Hey, can you guys help us using resources in the community? I'm happy to also, if you want my contact information, to follow up and we can talk further about it.
So your contact information was at the end of the slide. Perhaps we could go to that so everybody has your email address and your home phone number and
cell phone.
Carly, where did you say they'd be able to get a copy of the presentation or listen to the recording?
I have to check with Fuse, but we should be able to either email out the presentation or put it on the NAA website in the next couple of days.
Okay, so for folks that are on the phone, either look for a link in your email box from NAA or check on the NAA website over the next few days. They've got nothing going on at NAA right now. They're not busy at all, getting ready for a conference. Nikki says, so many great ideas. Thank you. I'd love to share the presentation. So there's the answer to that. Amy says, any creative ideas on how to market or draw traffic to a property that is located across the street from the military base, but military doesn't qualify typically for a tax credit community? Ginger or Kate, either of you have experience with that?
I don't. Kate?
We have done it. We still went ahead and met with them. There's usually a housing person on staff there or multiple people. Clarifying what we did. Their friends and family, though, may be visiting, or the military folks are living on base. We have found some recent loopholes with it as well, with housing allowances in really rural areas. I would still, it's still captive audience of people going in and out of there, and you can find ways to, it might not be them particularly, but they may know people.
We found in marketing to military bases that sometimes they had civilians that worked on base that qualified, and Ashley is saying if you take the time to chat with them, sometimes they do qualify. I know if they have a large family and maybe mom's in the military and dad's not working, or vice versa, that can be the case. We have a question from Tiffany asking if you have any senior citizen specific marketing ideas.
As far as outreach marketing, the senior centers and community rec centers are a big one.
We've done churches, and we've organized bus tours at community centers, like you were saying, where we will have a bus go and pick them up. They sign up ahead of time, and we'll go and pick them up and bring them to our community and do a tour and provide them lunch. Seniors are very happy about free lunch. So, they come, they get to hear about the community, see all the services that we offer, and then they get free lunch in the process, and that's been very successful for us.
Another thing that we did at one of our communities here in Indianapolis is we hosted a health fair. We reached out to a lot of the service providers and had them come into the community and for our residents, and then we outreach to the community outside of the people that we had living there to invite people to come in.
That's a great idea.
The other thing, too, with seniors, remember their family members are usually involved in the process. They're the folks that come in, they tour, then they get their children to come in and look at the facility as well. So they're also part of your prospect. So if you can capture the younger children as well, you can draw in the senior.
Right, and one thing with that is you want to make sure that your property is online, because we think that the older generation doesn't get on the internet. Well, the younger generation does, and that's where they're looking for to give their parents a home.
Right, and more of the older generation are getting online.
Well, that is true.
All right, we have time for just what's that?
I said some of them don't need to be.
That's depending on what they're looking at. We have time for just a couple more questions. Anybody else have anything to add? Wait just a minute. I don't know how. Ashley says thank you. All right. It sounds like that's it. Carly, how do we close this?
Yes. Well, I guess. Thank you for attending, everyone, and thank you to Lori, Ginger, and Kate for the wonderful presentation. And the webinar is now over. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. There will be more to come, so keep an eye out in your email. Ginger and Kate, thank you. You were fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys next week.
Everyone.